Hi, my name is Emily Sixberry, and I'm going to tell you about a cause that is very important to me. I hope that by the end of this speech that I can persuade you that something needs to change in the field of education. Teachers are underfunded and classrooms suffer, and I believe that we need to fix it. We need to support fully funding classrooms so teachers, such as myself, don't have to. I have worked in education for 10 years now, and a huge issue that I have personally been affected by is a lack of funding for classrooms. Every school I've worked at, I have been expected to fully pay for and decorate my classroom. I've been given a small budget, $50 to $100, to get extra supplies if I need it, or a few new toys for the room. But apart from that, anything that I wanted to add, I needed to supply myself. I have personally spent hundreds of dollars over the last decade buying books for my classroom, buying toys, buying supplies to decorate, and it has definitely taken a toll. Classrooms are supposed to be safe and healthy learning environments. They're supposed to be warm and inviting, but often when you first walk in as a teacher at the beginning of the year, it's a cinder block room with very little color and basic furniture. For example, this was my classroom at the beginning of last year. There is a rug that I ended up putting in there that you'll see on the floor, and there's a shelf. But apart from that, there's very little in the room on the walls. It is just a light blue room with toys. By the end of the year, this light blue room with some toys got transformed. I bought dozens of books. I bought border paper, construction paper, all sorts of items to make the classroom warm and inviting. I also got some plants. I got us a class pet. All of this I did out of my own income. There are very few resources for educators to support making their classrooms quality learning environments. There is a resource called Donors Choose that does allow people to support classrooms, but it's really hard to get chosen for Donors Choose. There are some minimal grants, but they definitely do not fully provide what is needed. At one point, I was given $50 to buy new supplies for my classroom, and all I bought was a rug. I believe the solution to funding classrooms in a positive way is to add a stipend to teacher salaries that can roll over year after year that they can use in their classroom, and to purchase supplies that are necessary so it doesn't have to come out of their pocket. If we had a rolling stipend, I could start as a first-year teacher, buy the basic supplies I need, and every year as things break or as my theme changes, I have a rolling fund that I can say, okay, I need more paper, or I need new markers, I want new paint, we need some new books. No problem, I have this available and I've banked it up and I can go get the supplies that I need. I think having this stipend that comes with my salary, I think that that would be a hugely beneficial for me, so I don't have to rely on my husband's income to help supplement my classroom, because he's not working working so hard himself to be able to fund my classroom. That should be the responsibility of the school I work for. Another issue, and something that I think is really important, is that teachers, on top of having to fund their own classrooms, they just aren't paid fairly or equitably. We put in a lot of time and education to get where we are. We're very devoted to our job, and we are not paid commensurate with our experience. And I think that that is another, if you're not going to give a stipend, if you're not going to do something to help take some of that support, like to support, raise the salary. If you're going to insist that I have to do it all myself, fine. But don't pay me a non-livable wage to begin with and then expect that I have to do it myself. Teachers work very hard. We need support to make sure our classrooms are funded, to make sure that we are able to truly educate future generations and provide them a well-rounded and safe, healthy learning environment. As a society, we should support the funding of education. We should make sure that teachers have the tools to do their jobs instead of expecting it to be a teacher-funded profession. Teaching is too stressful and too hard. We shouldn't add to that stress. As an ending note, I wanted to show, I don't have a picture of my fully decorated classroom, but I will show you the bulletin board I worked on, and a lot of this is supplies that I had to get myself, and I put it together. You can see the border paper. I bought both sides of these border papers, even though only half the bulletin board is mine, and I used my Cricut, and I bought all of the extra material. That is just an example of how I took my classroom from cinder block walls with no life to colorful and fun and a learning environment that my kids truly enjoyed being in. Thank you.